Welcome to this week's episode of Spooky Boy and the Spirit Sisters, a paranormal podcast for the strange and unusual.
By the strange and unusual.
We got a pretty salacious topic for you this week, but before we get into that, a quick reminder that we are running a Spooky Boy and the Spirit Sisters contest giveaway. Now, how does one win this giveaway? You remember from last week's episode, every week leading up to episode 9.
Mm-hmm. Episode 9.
We are going to be dropping episode 9. We are going to be dropping code words. And what you're going to do is you're going to collect all the code words. You are going to arrange them into a very distinct message, sentence, and or quote. And then you are going to send them to us, and you will be then entered in to win a really cool planchette by
Under the Ogham Tree.
I'm sorry, I'm like running off steam here. A really cool planchette by Under the Ogham Tree, and you get to choose to have a tarot reading by a spooky or spirit sister of your choice. But the message that comes through has to be correct. We will tell you if it is or not. And then, we will announce the winner on our final episode, which will be episode 13. And, good luck, folks. Just a reminder that the code word is going to be hidden in the episodes. You have to be listening in order to gather it. So, that being said, this week, we're going to get frightful and frisky, and we're going to talk about Lupercalia.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a horrendous pagan holiday. I'm just stating it, man. They murder puppies.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm not going to get off that.
If I'm being honest here, I had no idea what Lupercalia was until we were like, let's do this episode.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was until I started doing research.
And I was reading, and I was just like, what is this?
Terrible.
That's not true, Austin. We were watching The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and that has to be the first, I've actually seen it brought up and depicted in, media anywhere. So, and I remember you asking me about it then, and...
Yeah, well, you didn't tell me they murder puppies. You're just like, it's a celebration. It's a pagan tradition versus, versus Valentine's Day. You tell me puppies were murdered.
There's more to it than that.
They also kill a goat.
Yeah, what about the goat?
Hey, man. At this point, I'm used to everyone sacrificing goats because that just seems to always be the animal that they pick.
Oh, you can sacrifice a goat, but not a dog?
It is sadder because it's a dog, but...
Hey, goats can be man's best friend, too.
Have you ever raised a goat?
No, but it's on my goal list. My bucket list.
Anyways, let's actually tell the audience here what is Lupercalia.
So, think Valentine's Day, only...
Orgies.
Weird.
S&M.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Sex in the street. Purification.
It's hot. It's steamy. Is
it?
I mean, yeah, it kind of is. When you take away the sacrificing and the other stuff, and you know what? You need to get over the puppy thing.
Never.
Well, it was like a major Roman thing. So.
Right.
Yeah, it was that. Hey guys, Lupercalia, an episode. It was a
big
major Roman thing.
It was like a party, that they a festival that survived well into the rise of Christianity and all that kind of stuff. But over the years, it's changed, obviously, for reasons.
Well, yeah, you can't have people frolicking, having orgies in the middle of the streets of Rome anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Those were the days.
As if you were there.
Hey, past lives, damn it. But it didn't even start out in Rome.
It was a Greek holiday, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. It was, what was it called? Arcadian Greek.
Yeah, some crazy Greek name.
Arcadian Lycaia, I think is how that's pronounced. My Greek ancestors are spitting and rolling, and
You're gonna get slapped upside the head tonight.
Yeah. But as a lot of things, the Romans kind of were like, hey, we're gonna take that too.
So Lupercalia itself was every year on February 15th, or in between the 13th and the 15th. And the festival began by going to Lupercal, which was the legendary site where Romulus and Remus were
taken in by a she-wolf to suckle on her titties.
Yeah. And that's... Sorry.
And if you totally have she-wolf stuck in your head throughout the duration of this episode,
You're
it's
welcome.
totally valid because I do.
And that's where they sacrificed the dog and the goat, and that was the beginning of the
that was
festival.
like a 1,200-year running celebration for Rome, and it always took place in that cave.
Mm-hmm.
Like it never did not. They weren't like, you know what? Let's not go here.
Change
of
scenery.
We're gonna go here every year.
I mean, it was one of their big festivals. I mean, you had Saturnalia, which we see, back in December.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got Lupercalia. So it was like they just had enough time to clean the streets and everything from the last big festival thing that they had. And then it's just like, all right, what are we going to do now? How about another festival? Okay.
Right. Yeah, and so they also took the blood of these animals and put it on a knife and smeared it on the foreheads of the two youths that they chose,
Which were always boys.
Yeah. And they also wiped it with they took wool and dipped it in milk and put it on their foreheads also.
Yeah, they would clean the blade.
Yeah.
And then take the wool, soak it in, I would assume, goat milk.
Yeah.
And then, they would wipe that on the boys' heads as well. And then they would leave these young boys in the cave to start, just to sit here and start laughing hysterically in a dark cave for some reason. I don't understand that. But apparently that was to kick off the festivities of getting shit-faced.
Let's dissect this, okay? So let's dissect this. So you've got the blood.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the goat's milk, which very symbolic of other substances that are white and creamy.
We know where you're going with that.
Yes.
We don't need you to elaborate any further.
All of our listeners will know.
I mean, think if you just dissect what you've got here. I mean, you've got the blood to symbolize life, to continue the bloodlines. You've got the goat's milk for strong lineage and successful fertility and stuff like that. And if you leave them in a cave, they blow out all the lights. They've got these boys in a cave, and it's pitch black, and they're laughing. Laughter in that sense, it was shown as a way to kind of beat back the negative spirits, the bad stuff, And then if they emerge from the cave, everybody knows caves are symbolic of the vulva.
Oh my God, here we go. Can we not go on the vulva train?
It's symbolic. It's very symbolic of anatomy and stuff like that, You've got these sacrifices, which they're sacrificing to their gods.
Yeah.
Well, it was...
And you've got death, but then you've got life and rebirth. So ultimately, it's a symbol of life.
I mean, the god that they always, I guess, celebrated for this was Faunus or Fauna, which is essentially just the Greek god of Greek god Pan, which, they were like, well, yeah, I guess we'll just do that. Because they honestly had no idea really who to contribute this to. I think it was just their way of blowing off steam and having sex and getting shit-faced in the streets of Rome.
Yeah, there's like some people, they say it's Faunus, and then some say it's the god of fertility. I can never pronounce this one. Inus? INUUS. So if anybody knows how to pronounce that. INUUS.
Pretty sure it's just Inus.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Like,
how about Aldous?
And then there's also like the wolf goddess, Luperca,
yeah.
So
Pan during this time of year is celebrated by many cultures, like the Green Man coming back. It's that time of year, In the Midwest, we just call it second winter, but like everywhere else, it's already with Imbolc and Candlemas and stuff like that. It's the first part of planting your seeds, So it's the sign that spring's coming. Like it's. Spring's coming. Oh god. It's almost like it's starting. Like, the world's starting to reawaken. So celebrating the Green Man and fertility rituals and stuff like this, that's known through many different cultures throughout the world, especially right now.
Right.
So it makes sense why, everybody's feasting and fucking in the name of
all these gods and goddesses and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. They say that it predates like Romulus and Remus, like because supposedly there's like this theory that they were ambushed by bandits while celebrating Lupercalia, leading some to suggest that the festival actually predated them. Like, I don't know why people are saying that's the reason why. And if anybody, it's like there's so much like
mixed information throughout history, and they never really have a pinpoint of when. Most scholars, from what I was seeing, just date it back to the Greeks, and like when Romulus and Remus were figuring out, like, because they wanted to start Rome. They wanted to start the city of Rome and everything like that. And they had no women when they started their city. So they tricked, like, the Cybin, like, warriors and I guess, like, the Cybin, like, village that was, like, close to where they were starting Rome. And they hosted a party and all of this stuff. And then basically Romulus ordered his warrior men to go in there and steal all the women. And then it kicked off many wars with them, but eventually they came to terms and they were like, hey, well, you guys come into our, we kicked your ass and we stole your women, but we'll take you in to our fold if you help us build our city. And we'll treat the women with love and respect and all that kind of stuff, which you already stole them, so I very much doubt that was the case.
Right.
But yeah, who knows? Because like it's just like the whole history of it is very muddled down throughout history. But
yeah,
I can't remember where I read it, but we nowadays, because how religions move through and how it like has to do with like old pagan beliefs and stuff and how things are moved around. There's belief that the actual OG, like Lupercalia, wasn't even in December. Like, because when you think about how the climate is.
Wait, December or February?
No, February, sorry. Just because of like the climate in certain areas, like it's still fairly cold. So with it still being fairly cold, like you're not gonna have a bunch of people running around butt ass naked.
What, you don't want to go out here in northwest Illinois
in 3 feet of snow in a goatskin loincloth?
Goatskin thong.
Yeah, there you go.
God, get it right. Do your research.
But actually they were thinking that it was some other point in the year. But because of just Valentine's Day, and I use quotations with that, coming into play, and just how things usually are with pagan holidays. You know, you've got Christian, Judeo things coming in and going, you know, we're just going to put this here and we're going to forget the old pagan shit. Like, it typically got, like, brushed under the rug. But I thought I read somewhere that originally they thought it was maybe closer to, like, more, like, in the spring. Like, I can't remember exactly what month, but there was, like, I thought I saw it on, like, a National Geographic thing that they actually, the time of it was different. So, but then again, the same thing with Christmas.
Right.
You know, originally there's scholars out there that actually think that the true birth of Christ actually happened sometime in the summer. So, but it should, you know, that Lupercalia and Valentine's Day are not the same. No. You know, they're celebrated roughly around the same time, just because that's just how things are nowadays. But they're not the same. You know, Valentine's Day is more so after St. Valentine, whereas Lupercalia is for sure as shit.
Yeah, not
sex.
that.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of sex. Clothing optional.
Right.
You know.
Speaking of clothing, before we move on, we keep throwing around this, like, goat thong thing.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't explained that. So one of the things that they did on Lupercalia back in the day was they did this, like, run, like, the main attraction was the runners, is basically what I was getting out of it. And that goat that they sacrificed, they take the skin and they would cut it into thongs or girdles to be worn by all of the athletes that were participating in it. So there were...
More times than not, the athletes were butt-ass. Because more times than not, the athletes were butt-ass naked whenever they would compete with things.
Yeah.
So...
That's weird.
Yeah. And there was 2 sets of runners that would make their way through the streets of the Roman city. And while they were doing that, there was women out there being whipped by the same, like, goat skin that they used for that.
Whipping. Like, I would assume that it's not, like, to draw blood and cause, a lot of pain. It's more so, like, playful whipping.
Yeah. So it wasn't, hard enough for it to hurt them at all.
Is it just, like, because it's still wet and fresh, we'll just, like, a thwack?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I guess, like, I think it was, like, Plutarch was his name. He was the one who actually, like, wrote about who... like the festivities and everything like that, and he even said, he's like, it wasn't a snap sound, it was more of a slap sound. So yeah. And he also noted in his works that women would run up to these men so that they could get whipped on their hands for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know what the symbolization of how you're going to beat out infertility through the hands.
Yeah,
but
I've heard.
I guess that was the thing.
I've heard the hands, and I've also heard, like, thighs.
Well, the thighs make sense.
Understand.
Thighs make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are you gonna do with your hands? Like well, shut up. But I mean, like,
can I introduce you to this thing called a job?
What is a job?
Done with your hands.
Lauren, don't go there. But
yeah, I don't know. It was really weird.
Don't go there. That's what this whole thing is about. It's about going there. You know, kink was highly, like, encouraged during this point.
How many STDs were, like, about?
Right?
I feel like all of Roman nobility was just STD riddled.
I mean, back then, I don't think they knew about half the things that they know about today, so they were probably like...
Oh, you got the crabs down there. Oh, let me partake in this. Like, they were just like, oh, free little lobsters. Like,
She was cursed, me lord.
Who knows? They were probably like, oh, a god bless thy loins with these little lobsters. And they were like, yes.
Oh my god. Yeah. So the whipping like brought on like fertility, and it also apparently made like they thought that it made the birthing process easier for them.
Yeah. I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
but all right.
I don't
placebo,
either, but
placebo effect in the mind.
I guess, but when you think about it, okay, I'm gonna go there. So, pain threshold when it comes to intercourse. You know, your pain threshold is a lot higher when you're aroused. You know, and when
but they're not aroused when they're giving birth.
Well, no, but it's the same kind of idea. You know.
You did this to me. You did this to me.
But they're hoping that, you know, if everyone is super turned on and like ready to go at a drop of a pin during these things, like anything that comes to mind, it doesn't seem as hurtful. It doesn't seem as painful at that point in time. You know, it's about psychology, really. You know, would I randomly let someone come up and choke me when I'm standing in line at Starbucks? No. The bedroom?
I would hope not.
A little different. Like, you know, it's the different mindset, you know, the whipping and stuff like that, you know. That's where BDSM and S&M comes into play, you know, pain for pleasure.
Yeah.
Y'all got real quiet after that.
Because I have, like, I can't even explain what's going through my head right now.
Please do, Amanda.
I really don't want to. I'm just sitting here just like, what?
So, but we also have to take into mind, too, with that being said, sex wasn't as, like, taboo.
Right.
Like, this whole thing it's celebrated. You know, it's a celebration of life. When you think about it, you're living. You know, you're celebrating what your bodies can do. You're celebrating the miracle of the emotion and the sensations and stuff that our bodies are able to create from being aroused, from being near another human being, from having that kind of interaction with somebody. So nowadays we look at this and we go, oh, it's a sex thing. Like, oh, filthy pagans. But it's like, it's just a celebration. You know, it's the same. You have to take a view of it like an artist's eye. You know, when
they murdered puppies. I am not going to see this as some artist.
Oh my God.
Renaissance kind of shit.
I'm not romanticizing or capitalizing or whatever the right terminology is for the sacrificing of animals. Okay? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't.
Right.
Okay. But I'm looking at the meat and potatoes of the thing right now. Okay, and right now I'm looking at, you know, the celebration of things. You know, when you look at a naked body, you know, there's beauty there. There's beauty in the curvature and the shadows, and you know, where your certain limbs meet other limbs, and just
what? Ah, yes. Nothing sexier than how the elbow connects to the upper arm.
Well, no, but look at these, like, the lines in here and how smooth and, like, fellow artists and photographers out there, please drop comments and help me out here. Like, it is. The human body is beautiful. You know,
it is.
All its stretch marks and flabbiness and... It's beautiful.
I'm sorry, when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm not like shaking my flab around being like,
I'm gorgeous.
Look at how the shadow of my flab highlights my other part of my body.
You know, my testicle is looking really beautiful
What
today.
the fuck? What the fuck? Anyways, let's get back on
Look
course
at that contour. But it was a celebration of life. It was a celebration of fertility. And, you know, you're coming out from the dark months. You're coming out from a time of coldness. You know, when you look at the wheel of the year, you know, you've got the winter months. What happens in the winter months? Well, if you don't have enough food or you don't have the right warmth, you know, death. Mm-hmm. It's heavily associated with death, you know? And now comes spring, you're celebrating life. You're celebrating birth. You're celebrating just being, you know? And what better way to do that than to explore your bodies?
Than to frolic around in a goat thong.
Yeah.
Getting hammered. And
whoa! I didn't say you can tell everybody about our Valentine's Day escapades.
No.
By the way, Austin was the one wearing the goat thong.
God, never in my life. Hell no.
No, I'm kidding. But it was happiness. It was, you know, it wasn't seen that they weren't bound by today's standards and societal constraints.
I think there was a reason it doesn't happen anymore.
Okay,
STDs, man.
And, you know, laws and indecency.
Yes.
Can we also highlight that women didn't get a choice in who they got partnered with.
Correct.
So they would write their names on what they called billets, which in sometimes it's these little clay tablets, or it was just parchment paper, and they would throw it into what they called a lottery, and then these men in freaking thongs would pick out a name, get oiled up, and they'd be like, "Hey, honey, you're with me, possibly for an entire year." That was their partner for an entire year.
I didn't say the whole thing was perfect.
And also, it was only people of nobility that could partake in that lottery. So the commoners could have sex with each other, but they were not allowed to
You weren't allowed to sleep outside your ranks.
Basically, yeah. So you had the higher-ups and you had the plebeians, and the plebes were stuck with each other.
Oh, man.
I mean, hey.
Didn't that change over time, though, that they started, like, letting the commoners, like,
I have no
participate?
idea. Like I said, the whole thing, I feel like
eventually you gotta step out of the range of fucking your cousin over and over again.
True.
So.
Oh boy.
But yeah, because like
Sweet home Alabama.
like because I read that it did change like after a while.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
And they also changed it to where it became voluntary. So, like, instead of forcibly...
I just want it to be known. I am 1,000% for consent. So...
I thought you were just going to say... I was like, where are you going with this? Hold up. Might have to redact some stuff from this podcast.
Like, the kink and all of this stuff, I'm like, okay. But as long as there's consent, I don't want that to be construed as anything else. Like... As long as it's consensual.
I like that Augustus, after it disappeared for a long time, after like Caesar died and stuff like that, the whole celebration of Lupercalia just like sort of went to the wayside. Mm-hmm. But Augustus brought it back. But he implemented that no one of whatever they declared as underage during that time was to be allowed to partake in it.
Right.
Because prior to that, pedophilia was running rampant. Because a lot of the higher priests, they would use this celebration as a way to satisfy their sick, perverse ways. That's another reason why I said this is a very disgusting holiday in my eyes.
Yeah, that's also a big downfall, too.
So let's say this. The only thing that you're for... So let's say the only thing that you're like okay with, you're like, yeah, if you want to be kinky, be kinky. But that's about it.
Yes. Yes.
Everything else about this holiday, you're like, yeah, we could do without.
Let your freak flag fly. Fuck whoever you want consensually. And sure, don a thong made of goat skin as long as it's ethically sourced.
How do you ethically source a goat thong?
Yeah.
I mean, if the goat's on its
the
way
goat
out.
is like, hey, you know what? Here's my skin. Just rips it right off his goat body.
No, like if
he
the goat,
there's she fashions the thong for
meat,
you.
So,
yeah.
But any the animal slaughter, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Non-consensual things, get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Pedophilia, get rid of it.
Definitely get rid of it. You know what? Just throw the whole thing out.
You see, this is why I've converted your mind on this. You were all like, yeah, Lupercalia.
No, don't say that, because people can be like, yeah, Lauren was pedophilia before.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but I was saying you were all like...
her finally. No.
We don't condone that.
Nothing is condoned, all right?
Oh my god.
The fun
I will be honest, I didn't have much hope for this topic, and now Lisa's turned into a comedy disaster.
I told you. It's going to be a fun episode.
Right?
But, like, the multiple partners thing, you got to think about it, too. Back in the day.
Just think about it. Multiple partners. Think
about it.
It wasn't so, like, yes, you could have someone that you were married to. You could have someone that you were, like, yeah, I guess just married, But, for example, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm still on kink. But take, for example, hand fasting. That's a tradition that's done by, the Celts and the pagan, Northern European pagans. You had a year and a day. You're with this person, you go through the hand fasting ceremony, and you have a year and a day, And
what does that mean? You have a year and a day, so you get the 365 plus one?
Yes.
Why plus one?
I don't know. I didn't go that far and looking into it, because then I get on this romantic kind of kick, and next thing you know, there's another Pinterest board labeled wedding. So
yeah, let's move on.
So I'm like, oh, okay. But a year and a day, it's almost like a trial marriage. It's like a long engagement, only you get to do the fun stuff. You can have sex with the person, you can live with the person, you can do all this other stuff. And come the day where that, it's the year and it's the day, and you guys decide, you know what, it's been great, but it's not really working out for me. It's not you,
it's me.
Yeah. It's not you, it's me not really liking this. Then you guys go your separate ways, and there's no harm, no foul, Mm-hmm. They didn't, divorce and shit like that. So that was
their version of dating.
Kind of, yeah, but a little more serious than that, And say within that year and a day, a child was born or multiple children were born, when the time came when you just decided, you know what, I can't do it with this person. Mm-hmm. You weren't seeing bastard child,
or those children are code word devil's spawn.
It was, they were just kind of everyone's like, okay, well, it takes a village.
I'd walk through that village and be like, would it be bastards?
Bastard, 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 bastard.
Points to myself, bastard.
I know, me too, bastard.
Nope, I can't point to myself.
I'm not, but
I am.
I just, yeah.
Bastard pride.
Sounds like a t-shirt.
It wasn't like... It was more...
It wasn't frowned upon.
Right.
Yeah.
It was more so, oh, okay, there's another person here. Because when you think about it, the more people are in a village working to create and make that village thrive, the better. The longer the longevity of that village is going to thrive, you know, as long as it's, you know, once you stop procreating and stop having stuff, you know, that's when the village starts to downfall, because then you start running out, you know. And when you have a village, you know, it's very dependent on, what's that term? You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah.
So that's why it's, you know, where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as like one man, one woman together for eternity until death. You know, after you decided after that, like one day in a year and stuff like that, that's different. If you cheated and you were an asshole,
then that's a whole different story.
So don't get me wrong on that. That was, you know,
it was just that year and a day. That yeah.
So
yeah,
but love.
Oh man. So Austin threw out Caesar and all of this, and I have like a little snippet of like how Caesar like and Lupercalia kind of like coincide with each other, so to speak. Well, apparently in 44 BCE on February 15th, Mark Antony was actually one of the runners in this whole Lupercalia celebration, and apparently he was naked, perfumed, and drunk when he did this, while Caesar was watching all of the proceedings from a throne. And Antony went up to Julius Caesar with a crown of sorts, and he had asked Caesar to accept it and become king. However, Caesar denied it. He didn't want it. And the crowd like cheered and like all this kind of stuff. And he asked him again. He denied it again, and the crowd exploded. Well, like,
there's bodies everywhere.
And like, this whole story is like super like weird, like, but it took place on like
Valentine, quote unquote
Lupercalia. And I just thought it was kind of interesting.
So it's the same Mark Antony that had that rampant love affair with Cleopatra.
Yes, it is. And some say that Caesar actually like orchestrated this whole little thing.
It was a cute little PR thing that they just
honestly, yeah, because he was such a narcissist.
Yeah, and he like wanted to see like if the crowd would accept him as king. But when they didn't, he like it just kind of went to the wayside. But like either way, Caesar was literally assassinated a month later, like after that.
Beware the Ides of March.
So
get stabbed. Shink, 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 shink.
But what about
Brutus? Why? Because you a bitch.
Okay, so we talked a lot about Lupercalia, but Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't really go very much into what Valentine's Day is or who Saint Valentine
Dude, there's so many
was.
So many Valentines throughout Roman history.
Right, but the main one that I don't think people realize is like when they refer to Valentine's Day or Saint Valentine's Day, the main dude that, you know, like, yo, chalky candy hearts is
Is that his rap name?
Chalky candy
little
heart.
chalky.
Oh
man.
God. Saint Valentine of Rome is basically that one. Our main dude.
You got a little bit more info on who he and why?
I mean, yeah.
Would you like to enlighten us? You're sitting over there doodling.
Because I'm trying to. Okay, so I have my notes pulled up, and I'm usually like part of the notes that I have is from like history.com, but they have this.
Why is that?
Okay.
Yes, Burt Reynolds.
And like an orange diaper and some
it looks like crisscross suspenders.
Oh my god.
Does he have a gun in his hand?
Yeah, that's a movie he did. I forget what movie it is, but oh boy.
Like, I'm just over here minding my business, talking about kink, and
Google listens,
and
right?
Appropriately, here comes Google.
Well, okay, wait.
Claudius II beheaded him.
Okay, but why? Who was he and why?
Because he was a Christian marrying young couples in secrecy from Claudius II. And he didn't like that. And then I guess the main reason Claudius, apparently the rumors, right, is that Claudius II was like, was still celebrating the old gods and stuff like that. And Valentine was like, no, you need to convert to Christianity. And Claudius II was like, well, you need to
fuck off.
Basically, yeah. He said, I will let you go and not kill you if you denounce your belief in your God. And he said, nah, dog. And then Claudius II was like, all right, off with your head, bitch. And that's pretty much how it went down.
Well, isn't that how all of them go down, basically?
Well, how many? They didn't have an electric chair or lethal injection,
right.
So.
Well, no, but I mean, like, denounce your God. No. Denounce him. No. Do it. No. Like.
Yes.
That's a
pretty
great
much
explanation.
And that's the summary of the Bible.
It's not the summary of the Bible, Jesus.
Yeah, he's in there somewhere too.
Angels.
Oh my god.
But what was it? There was a reason they couldn't marry. Was it
Claudius II? He had this idea that apparently that men in the military serving Rome shouldn't be allowed to marry because it was a distraction or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. So these young soldiers, full of lust and love for these young maidens, I mean,
I'm that way, and I'm not a soldier.
They found out about Valentine, and they were like, well, we love this woman, or we love whoever our partner is, right? Mm-hmm. And Valentine was like, yeah, I'll marry you as long as you convert, to Christianity. So them being young and didn't really give a shit, they were like, yeah, I'll do that.
Sure.
So,
who we converting to? Yeah, I'll do that. Just say I do.
Essentially. And so that was allowing them to marry, and Claudius found that out, and I think he was more pissed that they were doing it under secrecy and not under, the pagan ways. So that's what more so I think pissed him off. It wasn't in the sense that, okay, they're going behind our backs and just getting married. It was more to the sense that they were celebrating a new god that they didn't fully recognize at that point yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, and that's why he was the whole thing, like, I'll spare your life if you denounce your God. But this, Valentine having such strong faith in God, he's like, nah, dog. And then
was Valentine a monk or a priest? Like, is that, or was he just some random dude?
He was a bishop. He was a bishop.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if it was just some random dude off the street going, hey, I got my marriage license off of eBay, I'll marry you. Like,
I got ordained.
Yeah.
I got ordained through the fights of the gladiators.
It only took like $13, but
no big deal. Oh, man.
Like, that would be a different story. I mean, the way I kind of see it was they were like, hey, we told you not to do this for reasons. And he's just like, fuck you, I'm going to do this. And he still does it. And they're like, hey, don't do the thing. We're going to kill you. And he's just like, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want.
Right.
Well, yeah, dude, we caught you doing the thing again. You should probably stop. And he goes, who's going to make me? And they go, well, we are. So,
Well, it's crazy to think
and
that.
And then naturally the church is like, martyr!
Right.
We gotta canonize him!
well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, Lupercalia survived like the entire initial rise of Christianity, and it wasn't really honestly outlawed until like hundreds of years after already most of Rome converted to Christianity.
It's really the fucking holiday is what everyone's like, can we get rid of maybe not yet. Maybe I'm not done yet. We'll get rid of everything else. We'll hold the one where I get to get down and dirty once a year. Like with anybody I want.
But it wasn't because then it was like the 5th century, that was when
morals.
Pope Goliath.
So it's jealousious, I'm pretty sure.
Jealousious?
Yeah.
Let me see that word.
Jealousious.
It's
G-E-L.
G-E-L-A-S-I-U-S. Jealousious, I'm pretty sure, is actually
that sounds about right.
Pope Gel.
Yeah, there we go.
Gelato.
Gelatinous.
Yeah, because didn't he wrote like a letter like criticizing like Christian participation in the festival.
Ha!
What?
Anytime anybody comes at me about my salacious ways, I'm going to be like, well, Lupercalia in 47 AD? I don't know. I'm just going to start throwing out years.
494 BCE.
491 BC.
Nope, 494 BCE.
494 BCE. And they're like, that's not in the Bible. I know, bitch!
Yeah, he like commented on how in the olden days, like nobles would like do the running and all that kind of stuff, and like that all of that was like bad. Like there's a lot
running bad. That I can get behind.
Yeah, and that it was like a public crime and
to run. Or run naked.
No, the whole
running,
Lupercalia.
Yeah, all of it.
Like, it's a crime to run. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Like, it's a public crime. It's not salvation. And the cult of the divinity regarding which, like, it's like, they're saying he's basically saying that Lupercalia is an instrument.
Wait, did you say the cult of the divinity?
Yeah. Like, he was, like, talking about all that kind of stuff. And...
Wait,
what?
Is that another word for church? Cult of the divinity?
I mean, that's all organized religion. All organized religion is essentially a cult.
Yeah.
You get them in young, you brainwash them, and then you churn them out.
I've never heard of it put that way before. Cult of the divinity?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm using that.
Yeah, he... like said that Lupercalia is an instrument of depravity in which your mind bearing testimony against itself like is a crime, and like
it's basically giving into your inhibitions and allowing lustful acts to control your mind. And so that's, it's one of the 7 deadly sins, right? Lust. I guarantee that probably came from Lupercalia.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just one of those things. So,
but it's a celebration of life, minus the other shit.
But why do you need to have that as a celebration of life when you could celebrate life by, I don't know, finding a partner a normal way, having
I'm
a child that way, like all that stuff.
Okay, so let's talk about like ways to celebrate like Lupercalia
today.
Now. Yeah.
No. How do you modernize this other than just being like celebrate Valentine's Day?
Okay. So one of the ways, because Lupercalia is also a celebration of like, what was the word? I can't think of the word. Purification and all that kind of stuff. So that includes like cleansing and like purging like your house, like spring cleaning essentially.
I'm down for spring cleaning.
Yeah, like this is like a modern
naked. Spring cleaning naked.
You can do that.
Yeah, you have fun doing that.
Air out your house, air out your buns.
So
basically just
negativity out. We're good.
Like cleansing, purging, purifying your house, like getting rid of what no longer serves you. And cleansing like the negative vibrations with the house by like smudging, and like you can take like ritual baths, like cleansing baths, and like all that kind of stuff.
A milk bath.
I mean, you could.
I'm gonna be quiet.
Another way is to have a feast on Lupercalia.
Feasting and fucking.
Just have like a big dinner, and like you can invite
with hot dogs instead of sacrificing actual dogs.
No. And like invite people over to eat, drink, and be merry and all that kind of stuff. Another one, speaking of drinking, is drink wine. You make a toast to the ancient Romans and having a fertile life before drinking the wine, but before you drink it, you clink your glasses together to scare off any bad spirits. Like, that's another thing with purification. And the next one is making love or fucking.
I mean, you basically got it. You deep throat a hot dog.
No.
You get your body ready. Okay. Instead of goat skin thongs, just have some.
We really should have put at like the beginning of this episode
trigger
warnings, rated M for mature content.
I mean, all of our podcast episodes are rated M.
Yeah, but this one especially.
Explicit material. We got that. We've got that explicit stamp.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you've got goat cheese with a little bit of like.
Where are you going with this?
You've got hot dogs. So you need like goat cheese appetizers. You can bring some of the modern things to modern touches. So,
okay.
I don't think they had hot dogs back in the olden days.
Well, it's in substitution of sacrificing poor Fido.
But a hot dog isn't a dog.
It's symbolic.
Okay. Well, moving on.
Yeah, let's just move on. Jesus.
Another one is like doing like. Now, okay. I'm going to say this, and it doesn't always mean.
I'm going to judge you.
Austin, shut up.
Still judging you.
Doing a fertility ritual. Now, it doesn't always mean like the conceiving of a child type thing.
Right.
It can also relate to like prosperity and growth over like.
You're going to whip your fields with a goat thong?
Like.
Be fruitful, you sons of bitches. Grow me some tomatoes.
Any other like life goal. It could be like your career or like just success.
Where do you wish to be fertile?
Yeah. Like it can be your passions or anything like that. And then another way of celebrating Lupercalia, which also coincides with Valentine's Day, is wearing red and white. Like it represents, like the red represents the blood of the sacrifice, and then the white represents the milk. And that's actually where the colors of Valentine's Day originated from. So, yeah, those are some ways that you can celebrate Lupercalia without getting arrested for public indecency. So, yeah.
That's a good way.
Yeah, as she's mulling over her head, I don't know. I sort of want to be arrested. I want to put that off on my bucket list.
I want that on my record.
No, you don't.
You
don't want that.
Arrested. She was butt-ass naked in the middle of Route 12, whipping herself in the middle of the street, butt-ass naked.
You wouldn't. Not only would you get arrested, you would be thrown in the loony bin.
You would.
I'm embodying my inner she-wolf.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
No, I'm joking. I'm not really that crazy, guys.
We say it with love.
You both. But no, those ways are really good, too, especially for people who aren't as sexually charged as I am. and others, you know. They're good ways to celebrate without
getting arrested for public indecency.
And without the, like, intimacy factor for it. Because some people do, you know, that doesn't apply. That doesn't appeal to them.
Right.
So, which more power to you.
Yeah, I don't like goat thongs and being whipped. I mean, that's just weird.
He's more of a wine and dine type of guy.
Hey, man. What you gonna do?
Right.
Also, this is a shameless plug. Our dear Amanda is single. So.
Oh my God.
Gents.
Lauren.
Oh boy. Lauren, you're not Cupid.
You're right. But, I'm much worse. I'm the she-wolf.
Oh, God. Okay.
You're much worse than Cupid. Holy shit. Because he is actually really bad.
Yeah.
He would shoot people in the hearts and not give a damn and then watch. He had a sick, perverse way of watching how people would, like, get obsessed with each other and then fall apart.
All the gods did shit like that.
Yeah. Well, if you're worse than him.
Bored.
Yeah, let's torment people because we're just bored. Who cares?
You know what? I guess I'm the wrong person to comment on this because you haven't watched me play The Sims 4. So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Jeez.
No, I hung out with my family. So that was nice, but yeah, I've never really liked Valentine's Day. Like, even when I was in a relationship, it was never really, like...
Even being in a relationship, I'd much rather switch it out with a second Halloween.
Right. Exactly. I could switch every holiday.
Halloween, every fucking holiday. Costumes, candies, screams.
Mm-hmm. I'm down.
That's why Spooky Boy and the Spirit Sisters is a year-round thing. We spooky bitches all year!
Yeah,
talking about spooky... Our next episode is Shadow People.
Yeah.
So that's really going to be fun.
Ooh,
I'm excited for that.
Spooky.
Talk about some of our own personal stories. We'll look up some crazier stories from other people around the web. If you guys have some encounters with Shadow People, share that with us as soon as possible. We'll share that on that episode too for you guys.
Yeah. I'm super interested in hearing because there's a lot of different stories, but there's also some similarities, which is so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but more about that in next week's episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And meanwhile, while you're telling us your Shadow People stories, go ahead, if you haven't already, give us a like, give us a follow.
Share us.
Yeah, share us. And something else that really, really helps us is writing reviews. I don't know if you guys knew this, but you can do that on quite a few of our platforms. You can do it on Facebook. You can do that on Google. If you type in Spooky Boy and the Spirit Sisters into your Google, you'll see the will pop up, and then you can actually put reviews in there. Mm-hmm. And that actually helps us out quite a bit because not only are we getting your feedback, but it also lets other people know, hey, this person really likes them. So tell us that we don't suck.
Right.
Give us suggestions for things too. Never mind, I'm not going to finish that. But anyways, leave us a review.
I'm going to go lay down in a coffin.
Give us your thoughts, your insights.
And we say this every week, but if there's anything you want us to cover,
absolutely.
Shoot that to us.
Let us know because it allows us to not have to think about other content. We can.
It expands our brains and it gives us something different to look at, you know?
Yeah.
While you love listening to us for that special dosage of spooky every week.
Or stupidity.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
We love being able to explore and dive into brand new topics. You know, we have this thirst for knowledge, and we're just lucky that we have fellow friends that also have a thirst for knowledge, and we can come together and share our stupid wealth of knowledge with all of you. You know, so share more with us so we can share more with you.
Yeah.
And with that, stay spooky.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next time.
Stay safe. Use consent. No
Here
means
in the
no.
Midwest, stay warm.
Yeah.